Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly. Today, they asked Dabo Swinney if he had any interest in the A&M job, and here's what he had to say. It was a really strange and odd response, at least in my humble opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have not one but two job searches to talk about in today's video. Obviously, this goes without being said, the most important one is Texas A&M, but also we got to talk about another SEC school. And that other SEC school we got to talk about, ironically enough, in the same division as Texas A&M is Mississippi State. It seems like Mississippi State, they haven't narrowed down their job search, but it looks like they got some targets. We're going to take a look at those two things. It's relatively simple. I want to make this a really short, simple, and sweet video. So, all right, Matt, blah, blah, shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, first things first, let's get this out of the way because I really want to get into this Texas A&M stuff. What's going on in Mississippi State? Here's some of the names that are being thrown around Mississippi State's way. I'm going to show you the list right here. Number one, this would be my highest candidate on the board, and I think it's a great fit. It would also make for a great love story. We got Dan Mullen. I already talked about that yesterday, and I can't get over how great of a fit that would be. Dan Mullen is a proven SEC head coach. He proved he could win at Florida and Mississippi State. And by the way, I'm going to give you a little throwback. Do y'all know the first ever college football poll that got released? Guess who was number one? Mississippi State. Guess who was coaching them at the time? Dan Mullen. That's way back, man. I can't believe 2014 was nearly 10 years ago, but that's back when Dak Prescott was a quarterback. And as we all know, shortly after Mississippi State was ranked number one, they went into Alabama's home stadium and Alabama beat them. Time flies, man. Time flies. But yeah, Dan Mullen, I think he'd be a great fit. For those of you that are wondering, Dan Mullen currently, he broadcasts games on TV and he talks about college football, and he's made this clear. He loves doing that, and he gets to spend more time with his family. Being a college football head coach, there's no off time. There's really not. It's 24/7. But broadcasting games, yeah, you take some time off. So it comes down to two things. Number one, does Dan Mullen even want to get back into coaching? And number two, would Mississippi State want a reunion? If the answer to both those said questions are yes, I say let's make it happen. But hey, that's just me going down a list here. Behind Dan Mullen, you got Manny Diaz. Make no mistakes about it, he was pretty bad at Miami, but I'm not opposed to this. He's had that defense at Penn State looking good, and I think this would be a good hire as well. Going down the list here, another notable name that sticks out to me, you got Lance Leipold. That's how you say it, right? Leipold? I always, when I see it, I want to say leopard, but no, it's Leipold. But yeah, anyways, look at the job he's done at Kansas. If he can build Kansas up, I'm sure he can build Mississippi State up to an 8 or 9 win team. And you see some of these other guys on the list, and they're good candidates. But to me, the top three has got to be Dan Mullen, Manny Diaz, and Lance Leipold. There we go. I wanted to say leopard again there. I wanted to. No, it's Leipold. Me personally, I don't see Lance Leipold leaving Kansas for Mississippi State because from his perspective, it doesn't make any sense. Mississippi State, I'm sure, would love to have him, but why would Leipold want to leave Kansas? I want you to think about this. Kansas is a basketball school. Whether you like that or not, Kansas fans, it's reality. It's how you're viewed. So, with that being said, as long as your football team is winning, shoot, man, I was going to say 8, but no. As long as you're winning 6, 7 games a year, the fans are content with that. However, if Leipold goes to Mississippi State and he's only winning 6, 7 games a year, he'll be fired in 2 or 3 years. It's a different standard. Mississippi State loves football. Kansas loves basketball. I don't see why he would leave. But for Manny Diaz, I could see him leaving, and I could also see Dan Mullen coming in like we already talked about. I'm sure there's some other candidates they got on there, but this is just a list we're taking a look at in this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you was Mississippi State's AD, who would you go after? Getting that topic out the way, moving on to the main topic of the main encore, probably the main reason you clicked onto this video. What's going on with A&M? Well, obviously A&M is a big time job. It's in the SEC, more importantly in the SEC West. And we all know how this cycle goes. Whenever somebody gets fired from a big time school like A&M, they start asking all these other head coaches, hey, are you interested in the job? Are you going to leave? And they're already started doing that with Dan Lanning and many others. I'll show you what Dan Lanning had to say earlier today. They asked him about going to A&M, and here's what he stated. I'm not going anywhere. There's zero chance I will be coaching somewhere else. I've got unfinished business here. I don't know about you, but I believe that 10,000%. It seems like Dan Lanning loves Oregon, and Oregon loves Dan Lanning. I think that is a great fit, and it just doesn't make any sense to leave Oregon to go to A&M. But let's take a look at this list right here. Here's the top candidates for the A&M job currently. And I love this one so much. You see right here, Duke's head coach Mike Elko. To me, that'd be one of the best hires, and that's an underrated hire and fit. Mike Elko is doing a heck of a job with Duke this year, considering he doesn't have much to work with. I think he would turn A&M into a serious contender in the SEC. It may take a year or two, but I think Mike Elko, he could do it. He's a man for the job. You're going to see these other two names, bottom left here, Mike Norvell, Dan Lanning, same thing. I'm not even going to show you what Mike Norvell said because he said the same thing Dan Lanning said. I'm not leaving. And plus, why would Mike Norvell leave Florida State? They're a top 5 team in the country. He's built that program up. Why would he go do the same thing at A&M? Just doesn't make any sense to put in all that work at Florida State and leave when you're at your peak. So I'm really not even going to talk about those or entertain them for a split second because there's no chance it happens. On the right here, though, you see, and his name's going to get thrown around there for right reasons. I think he deserves to be mentioned, Lane Kiffin. We all remember what happened last year at Lane Kiffin and Auburn. That was a crap show. And it's odd timing to even mention Lane Kiffin and all of this because right after the Georgia game, a reporter asked him, what does Ole Miss need to do to start beating teams and competing with teams like Georgia and Alabama? And Lane Kiffin put out there, we need more 5-star recruits. Interesting. I know a team in the SEC that gets 5-star recruits. Texas A&M. Do I think at this current point in time Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss to go to A&M? Absolutely not. Don't see it happen, but I would give it a slight percentage of a chance of happening. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. Dan Lanning and Mike Norvell have 0% chance of leaving their teams. But Lane Kiffin, I'd give him a 5% chance. It's low, but there's a chance. Moving along here, another head coach, and the last head coach that sticks out to me is Arizona's head coach, Jedd Fisch. I can't sit up here and rave enough at how unreal of a job Jedd Fisch has done with that Arizona football team. The Pac-12, it's not even arguably, they are the second best conference in the country, and he's sitting there pretty at 7-3. He's got a top 25 team, and he's doing it all with a freshman quarterback. And then on this list, you also see Dan Campbell. I don't even understand where that comes from. All in all, though, for me, there's two main targets on this list, Mike Elko and Jedd Fisch. If I was the AD and I had to select one of these guys, Mike Elko and Jedd Fisch, right now at this current point in time, I'm leaning more towards Elko. I think he embodies what A&M's about a little bit more than Jedd Fisch. But whoa. Hold on. There's another guy that could potentially be a candidate for A&M that's not on this list and not too many people are talking about. And that is no other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dabo Swinney. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. Today, they asked Dabo Swinney if he had any interest in the A&M job, and here's what he had to say. It was a really strange and odd response, at least in my humble opinion. Dabo stated, quote unquote, I'm just focused on this job. Always have been. Just trying to beat North Carolina. It must be November. That's all I can say. Interesting. So, Mike Norvell, right, and Dan Lanning, when asked about the A&M job, they shut it down then and there. They're like, nope. I'm not leaving Florida State. I'm not leaving Oregon. Well, you see right here, Dabo Swinney didn't even say any of that. He just simply said, I'm just focused on this job. All he said was, I'm just trying to beat North Carolina. It must be November. That's all I can say. Nowhere in this quote did Dabo Swinney say, nope, I'm staying at Clemson, and nope, I'm not even interested in the A&M job. He didn't say that. He didn't put it to rest like Mike Norvell and Dan Lanning. No. It's almost like he tried to answer the question without directly answering it, if that makes sense. It's like he answered his own question. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm just focused on North Carolina, man. That's all I can say about it. And normally, and we've seen this time after time, when a head coach has a shady answer like that, he might leave. You never know. And to be honest, when I sat back and thought about it, I don't think it's a bad move at all. I don't think it's a bad move for Dabo, and I don't think it's a bad move for an A&M. Both A&M and Dabo are a little weird and cringy, so they'd be two peas in a pod. They both have their weird ways of going about things, and also it'd give Dabo a fresh start. Dabo's made it clear and evident. He's sick and tired of the quote-unquote entitlement and the lack of, what did he call it? Hold on. I'm drawing a blank. I can't even remember what he said, but it's the lack of something, the lack of... the appreciation. We all remember Dabo, he went off on that poor fan, so Dabo is sick and tired of Clemson. But here's the question, is he sick and tired of them enough to leave and go elsewhere? I don't know. Like I said, it'd be a fresh start, and it does seem like he needs something to reignite his career because a lot of people don't believe in him anymore, including me. I'm getting Lane Kiffin vibes from this because remember when Kiffin was asked about the Auburn job last year? Same thing, he's beating around the bush. He was always like, oh yeah, well I'm just focused on the Egg Bowl, man, that's all I can say. He never for one second said, no, I'm not interested in the Auburn job. No. I just thought this quote and phrase from Dabo was a little fishy. I'll give you my 2 cents on it though. If I had to bet, do I think Dabo's going to leave Clemson for A&M? At this point in time, I'd say no. But if I had to give you a percentage, I'd say... I'd give him about a 30% chance. And it goes back to this. Dabo has made it clear he's not happy with the Clemson fan base. And I think he enjoys the thought and idea of joining A&M and then praising the ground he walks on. Dabo gives off the vibes that he wants to be appreciated. He wants people to kiss the ground he walks on. He wants that, and to tell you the truth, I think he misses it. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. But